The story begins with Akira, who is crying as he remembers the death of his parents. His friend tries to comfort him by hugging him, realizing how hard loneliness can be, but she is determined to soothe him. He wishes she wouldn't worry about him, but she reassures him that she will stay close until everything settles down, affirming that everyone will care for him and that he won't be alone. Years pass, and the events shift 9 years later, where AI technology has advanced significantly. A non-profit organization called the AI Victims Association is formed, gathering signatures for a petition to the government titled Regulate AI Applications. Over 50,000 people participated in protests in Chiyoda, leading to a police presence in the city. The scene changes to a group of people who lost their jobs because they couldn't use AI, feeling anxious that criminals using it aren't being caught. Then we see Toa asking people their opinions about AI, showing that it can identify, analyze, and self-organize data according to its settings, but people believe it lacks a sense of soul. It's pointed out that human souls are merely electrical signals emitted by the organs. Meanwhile, Akira is in his room dreaming of his close friend while hugging his pillow until the alarm rings, waking him up. He looks at his phone, where Toa's image pops up, someone he can't stop thinking about. Confused by his dream, he gets ready for school and asks his AI for the news, which presents a report about Toa, now 19, who has become the talk of the town and an impressive talent. He leaves his room to have breakfast with his adoptive father, just as Toa walks in, looking tired. She expresses admiration for his going to school, but he comments that she should study like everyone else. She explains that learning is no longer necessary for her as she's already mastered it, considering skipping grades and graduating early a logical choice. The narration dives into 10 years since Kazuyama Umati adopted him, and Toa feels it would be nice to prepare a surprise for him. She is introduced as an exceptional genius recognized worldwide, having earned multiple advanced academic degrees by the age of 18. She runs a company and works as a research consultant, having participated in developing most contemporary technologies. Akira knows that to be worthy of her, he needs to surpass being just family and get closer to her, but he doesn't know how. Memories of his past surface when he lost his parents at 7, after losing contact with relatives, remaining alone until a friend of his father's, Kazuyama, adopted him, saving him and Toa, and providing him with a new family. Yet, he doesn't want to always be seen as the little brother. Scenes shift to Toa overseeing the construction project of the largest bridge in the world, thanks to the AI she developed. After a meeting, she contemplates buying Akira a gift, but struggles to decide. While looking at his pictures, she realizes how much he has matured, and shuts down the AI system to think quietly. Just then, Akira suddenly enters. She invites him to dinner, where he finds the food delicious. They sit down, and when she asks what he'd like, he expresses a desire to cook this time, revealing he wants to try a new recipe. She attempts to prepare something for him, but he gently stops her, leaving her a bit disappointed. They later sit on the couch, watching troubling news about robotics. Various countries are demanding to halt the project, and a religious leader appears on the TV denouncing the idea of human-like robots, calling them an unacceptable threat, as having a complete mind and body makes them eerily similar to humans. Toa realizes something hidden is happening, recalling her father's previous concerns about secret conspiracies, wondering what she can do, knowing that the success of these efforts would greatly harm her work. Toa's father warned that the worst-case scenarios could lead to freezing her research, and Akira voiced his hope that wouldn't happen. Toa viewed human-like robots as inventions bringing joy to people, and didn't understand the surrounding rejection. Her father told her to stay calm, and promised to contact analysts and employees to look into it. While Akira realized he was incapable of direct help in that moment, he returned to his room and asked his AI about the likelihood of Toa's project being cancelled, receiving a response that it was 82% likely, meaning what should have been completed in 5 years might now take 20. Toa's father reappeared, asking Akira to stay calm and be a reliable support. Akira decided to study daily despite the slim chances, focusing on a single goal, keeping Toa motivated, trying various ways to encourage her. Her father later explained that the chances of changing the situation were extremely slim, as rival companies voted against the project, claiming it contradicted church principles, making Toa's position weaker. After some time, Akira invited her to visit the zoo, and while she was lying on her bed asking her AI whether what was happening was fair, it advised her to stay calm, and suggested it was a good time to talk about her feelings, so she hurried to pick out her dress. The next day, they enjoyed their time at the zoo and watched a movie. In the evening, Akira took her to a massage parlor, where she felt deeply relaxed. They met afterward, exchanged words, and then he gifted her something he made using robotics, which filled her with joy. He admitted he constantly studied her artificial systems to help her, which moved her, as he didn't want to always be seen as her little brother. Her face flushed, but she changed the subject and praised the small dog he created, which he noticed but chose to remain silent about. On the way back, she asked if he wanted a short tour, and as they walked, she remembered that the next day would mark 10 years since they had been living together, but the conversation didn't continue. Later, she presented him with a gift, a 3D photo album, and he was delighted as he flipped through the pictures. Yet she returned to their earlier subject, deciding to bring it up again, explaining that she had always wanted to move their relationship beyond sibling boundaries. and that he had been the support that helped her move forward throughout those years. She had convinced herself he was like a brother to her, but the way she looked at him as he grew taller and more manly weakened that conviction. Then Akira confessed his love and desire to marry her, to which she calmly responded that he should wait because they are still young, and that starting as a young couple was the most suitable option. Afterward, Akira returned home feeling like the happiest person in the world, congratulated by his AI, although he knew the real challenge had just begun. Years passed until Toa decided to clarify the truth about robots, and as protests crowded the streets against her, she chose to hold a press conference to address the questions and concerns. She presented the LC project as a plan for human development through integrating AI devices into the body with bioelectronic technologies, enabling each person to connect with AI 24/7 through a supporting network, relying on collaboration from leading minds in various fields. She acknowledged that some people remained hesitant about these measures, but assured everyone that there was nothing to worry about, promising to provide additional details about safety soon. Suddenly, a young man rushed onto the stage with a weapon aimed at her, accusing her of betraying humanity and daring to challenge the will of the Creator, demanding that she apologize and die. At that moment, Akira dashed in front of her to shield her, but the attacker, as he fell, fired 2 shots that struck Akira himself. He fell to the ground, apologizing for what happened, then lost consciousness only to awaken, as if reborn, discovering that the world around him was in complete ruin. Thus, the first episode ended, and after moments passed, Akira still couldn't believe what he saw, his eyes wandering the desolate surroundings, until he spotted a distant girl watching him steadily and calling him by name, leading him to think that what he was experiencing was nothing but a dream. Akira still felt the pain of the fall with a slight dizziness, but everything around him seemed unreal, raising his thoughts about what was happening to him. He remembered emerging from something resembling a capsule, perhaps a medical device, but he wasn't sure. At that moment, he heard nearby voices and saw a man approaching with the same girl. Their conversation seemed strange and hard for him to understand, but he was astonished when the man referred to him as the Wise One. They explained that they came to the place after the earthquake that shook the ruins. Akira attempted to stand, but his body was weak, and he fell, darkness weighing on his sight. After a moment, he heard the female voice again, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself transported inside a cart, struggling to sit up and thanking them for their help, thinking to himself that they were mistaken as he was just Akira. The man introduced himself as the leader of one of the nearby villages, revealing that the girl was his daughter, Ida. They informed him that people considered him wise because he was found sleeping inside the capsule, and since then the whole village had revered him for what they believed to be knowledge and wisdom. They mentioned that the WIA system always oversees those ruins and ensures that he remains under care, but Akira didn't understand anything. Turning his thoughts to Toa, he worried about her safety when he heard the name of the place they were heading to. Suddenly, a strong memory hit him of a place he would visit with her and his father, but the memory morphed into pain as he saw the destruction around him, intensifying the headache in his head, forcing him to lie down, wishing that what he was seeing was just a nightmare. Later, he woke up in a simple house, greeted warmly by a woman who seemed happy to see him standing. He asked where he was, and she replied that he was in her home and invited him to rest, which he thanked her for gratefully. Hours passed with conversation and food, but the present company was stunned by his mentions of things from a time that no longer existed. When he asked how long they thought he had been asleep, no one knew the answer, as they were merely villagers ignorant of history. However, they said they needed to inform WIA about everything. Akira was surprised and inquired about that entity, and they explained that it was the system ruling the world now, as there were no countries left. They had been abolished to be replaced by this authority that ended wars and established what is described as lasting peace. This news shocked him, as some men insisted on immediately reporting it for fear of punishment, recalling that people had been punished for hiding ancient artifacts. However, Giles felt that Akira had just woken up and was not yet aware of the reality of the world in which he found himself, and Tavina agreed, suggesting it was best to help him acclimate before making any decisions. Akira was impressed by everyone's adherence to this opinion. As night fell, most of them went to sleep, but he couldn't close his eyes as questions raced through his mind. He stepped outside to breathe the air, feeling the warmth of summer, and saw the glimmering lights of villages in the distance, filling his heart with sorrow as tears flowed silently as he thought of Toa, until he spotted the same girl watching him from a tower. In the morning, he resolved to talk to Ida seeking answers. They went together to the market, where he noticed that goods and ways of dealing resembled those from the 18th century, and he saw money being exchanged, concluding that its value was determined by WIA. He asked her about a place to find books, and she took him to a school, while another girl followed them, pretending to shop. Akira browsed some children's books but found no benefit in them, so he asked if there was a way to contact WIA directly. She showed signs of anger and expressed her hatred for that entity, describing it as violent and tyrannical. At that moment, they witnessed a celebration inside a church, and he asked what was happening. She replied it was a union similar to a marriage, but he noticed everyone present was female, increasing his confusion. He asked about the nature of this ceremony, and she clarified it was a kind of social bond entirely different from what he had known in his time. The union's climate that Akira witnessed involved 3 or 4 or more women without specifying gender, where links were formed between wealthy families in the form of groups. According to Ida's father, the WIA system punishes those who exceed the allowed number. Akira's astonishment grew when Ida told him that her family had a union that brought her mother together with 2 men. He fell into deep contemplation, and this cultural contrast awakened memories of Toa, the days they talked about the future, and the moment he had gifted her a ring that surprised her. His longing intensified in his chest. chest. However, the present brought him back to reality when Tavarina came to summon him. They needed his skill, which they considered wisdom. He accompanied her to where a broken agricultural tractor lay. After inspecting it, he identified the problem and managed to fix it, stunning everyone as they thought it was beyond repair since the earthquake. But the villagers' joy was short-lived when the voice of one of the WIA envoys, named Canis, resonated, instilling panic among the villagers. He praised Akira's skill but announced that he would take him as an artifact belonging to Wea and could not treat him as one of the civilians. Some tried to prevent him, but he became enraged and shot the chief's foot, accusing him of betrayal for hiding news about Akira, declaring that he would also take his daughter as a witness. Tavarina strongly opposed this, but Canis sternly replied that he was just following orders. Those who reported the incident attempted to reason with him, saying that this wasn't the agreement, but the decision had already been made. As silence fell, Gaia declared his intention to submit a report. Canis dismissed him with contempt, considering his words weak excuses, then pointed an electric rod at his wound and shocked him, leaving the crowd stunned and unable to intervene. Hours later, Akira was in a cart, accompanied by Ida and Wei, with his head hung low, apologizing, convinced that what happened was his fault. When the cart stopped, Canis ordered the villagers to disembark while keeping the artifact inside it, then issued orders to kill all witnesses and return to the village to wipe out the remaining ones, having decided not to let anyone who knew about the artifact survive. Akira felt utterly powerless and regarded Canis as a monster, but the latter laughed, saying that everyone would obey him anyway. At that moment, Akira heard a voice ordering him to bow, and he complied before the cart exploded and was completely destroyed. Through the smoke, he saw the shape of a girl swiftly leaping at Canis and striking him with crushing force, knocking him towards the rubble. He roared angrily, threatening anyone who stood in his way, while Akira stood there, his mind racing, wondering about her identity and why she saved him. She answered that she was still trapped in the reality of ancient Japan, asserting her ability to free them if they trusted her and accepted her offer. He had no choice but to yield to her plea, hoping for help, so she commanded them to find a safe place. Meanwhile, the soldiers opened fire, but an invisible shield deflected the bullets back at them, and the girl charged forward with wide strides towards the farther soldiers, dispatching them with swift and precise movements. The bullets did not touch her thanks to the protective barrier, leaving Akira and his companions dumbfounded by her power. She then returned to Canis, calling him weak, which prompted him to try fleeing, further aggravating her. At that moment, Akira managed to move and struck one of the soldiers before he could shoot at her, but Canis reappeared inside the train, wielding a submachine gun. The girl evaded the bullets with astonishing agility until her body began to transform. She planted her feet firmly on the ground, and her hand morphed into a cannon, firing a bright beam that melted solid iron and penetrated a nearby mountain, leaving a massive crater. Akira gasped, muttering that she could not possibly be human, and she confirmed that, revealing her true identity as a robot named Yogur, deepening his confusion. She approached him calmly, stating that she owed him a debt of gratitude after making a promise, then removed her mask to reveal a face that matched Toa's, freezing Akira in shock. It appeared that Yogur insisted on marrying him, thus ending the day's summary. At that moment, the hero asked if she was from the Tawasa clan, but she denied it and introduced herself as Yogur, explaining that they should marry and share some proximity, leaving him in disbelief. He found it extremely surprising, but Yogur played a recording promising to do whatever he asked, which she seized with a confident smile, realizing that it was indeed what he wanted. She then revealed a ring, shocking him when it turned out to be the same one he had given to Tawasa, which seemed impossible, yet hints indicated that she knew her. Yogur coldly replied that that was confidential information, causing the hero to be even more astonished, since her movements resembled Tawasa's as well. Meanwhile, Eri, tears in her eyes, pointed at her father, while Akira felt the most crucial thing was to treat Wea's wound. After hours, everyone returned to the village, where the informant apologized with great remorse, declaring that all the blame lay with him. Akira understood the situation, pointing out that he recognized his motives and that he had wanted to save the village, reassuring him that he would not be blamed for anything, explaining that a will had been tracking him, and that it was best for him to leave to avoid bringing more trouble. Shortly after, everyone bid farewell, hoping to meet again to talk about the past as it was. When Akira asked her if she intended to follow him always, Yogur reminded him that he still had not answered the marriage proposal. He justified that he could not marry someone he did not know well, and she responded, smiling, that he needed to start getting to know her. He agreed, but warned her not to do anything weird, suggesting they go to the place where she had awakened to learn more. Since she was machine-made, he requested that she reveal any information she had, but she refused, saying that most of the data was classified, and that he would have to marry her if he wanted to access it. After a while, they reached a crumbling laboratory, and Akira regretted coming at night as darkness obscured his vision. Suddenly, Yogur pushed him forcefully toward a safe spot, covered his mouth, and whispered for him to stay silent, then activated a cloaking system to avoid being recognized, as a robot appeared that began to destroy part of the place. Yogur realized that the newcomer was Jacobo, who started scanning the lab with devices that sensed living beings, and Akira was shocked to see that both robots bore Yogur's features. One of them struck the debris where Edhai was hiding, causing Akira to panic, while Yogur urged him not to move so the girl wouldn't be harmed. The robots asked her why she was there, and if she knew about the envoy's murder, to which she acknowledged she was aware but could not disclose the killer's identity, because he saved her life, adding that she did not know where he was now. When they realized she was telling the truth, they grew angry at their failure to find find their target and left. Akira then approached Ed High, asking why she was there. She explained that she had come to deliver a watch she found in that place. Akira saw a farewell message inside it from Tawasa, thanking him for everything and saying he would always be the love of her life, but she had made many mistakes and it was best not to look for her again. The recording ended with a sad goodbye, causing Akira's heart to sink as he realized that the message was recorded 200 years ago, meaning Tawasa might have died long ago. Nevertheless, he didn't lose hope and decided to start searching for her from Tokyo, where they had lived. Yoga expressed enthusiasm, announcing that she would accompany him through thick and thin, making Akira sigh as he thought he hadn't intended to marry so quickly. Despite his hesitation, he felt he could trust Yoger and decided it was time to continue the search for Tawasa. That night, he wondered about the girls who had appeared in the lab, and Yoger explained that they were leaders in special squads belonging to the oil organization, which controlled all technology and hunted them, but she couldn't say more because the information was classified. Out of curiosity, Akira asked why she was so eager to marry him despite knowing he was already engaged. She simply answered that engagement was not marriage, which gave her a chance to make him love her more than he loved Tawasa. With a determined look, she approached him and wrapped her arms around him, assuring him that she was designed to meet all human needs. His face flushed, and he asked her to stop, and she smiled, noticing that he called her by her name. The next day, they said goodbye to Ed High and resumed their journey together until they reached the port, where they managed to board a small boat heading to the next city. During the crossing, they talked with the sailor, who asked about their destination. Akira responded that they were headed to Tokyo, and the man was surprised because the distance was very far. Upon their arrival, Akira noticed that the city had changed a lot from what he remembered, and while he was walking through the streets, he bumped into a girl, causing her belongings to fall and her mat to break. He apologized, feeling sorry, and promised to buy her another one. Meanwhile, Yoger examined the girl's items and was astonished to see a book in her hands. The girl, introducing herself as Amuro, explained that it was her favorite book. After a while, Akira returned with a new mat, but was surprised when the vendor gave them extra money. When the store owner noticed this, he got angry and accused Akira of cheating, pushing him violently and complaining that the item was a broken red gear. Yoger quickly pulled Akira away to avoid the fight. Akira asked her what the red gear meant, and she explained that it was a term used for humans who had lost their rights, as the organization turned criminals and debtors into workers controlled by internal chips in exchange for shelter and food. Akira was shocked, while Yoger noticed his excessive compassion and advised him to stay away from anything related to that organization. Despite that, he offered the new mat to Amaro, who thanked him and asked about their destination. He told her they were heading to Mount Or, and she was surprised, explaining that the road had many checkpoints, then offered to help, saying she knew a safe alternative route. The three continued walking through various paths, with Amaro sketching in her notebook even while walking, which impressed Akira. Along the way, Yoger noticed a strange symbol engraved on the girl's back. After hours, when they stopped to eat, Akira thanked Yoger for the catch and praised her accuracy, then asked her about the source of her energy. She showed him the glowing core in her chest that provided her with continuous energy, so she didn't need food, but she admitted she ate for pleasure. When he leaned closer, questioning her, she warned him with a serious look that he was responsible for everything he touched. The scene was truly astonishing, but she seemed to enjoy the boy's embarrassment. While talking with Amaro, he knew that the book she carried was prohibited, so he promised not to take it from her and that he just wanted to take a look at it. At that moment, Amaro revealed that the book belonged to her parents, who were painters, and that was why she wanted to draw to preserve their legacy. She was moved by his words, which ignited her determination to pursue her dream. The next day, they arrived in the city, and Akira was worried about Oil's guards, but Yoger reassured him that she did not recognize their faces, so they could enter without much difficulty. He was astonished that everything went smoothly in an unexpected way, at which point Yoger revealed that she had lived like this for 150 years, and that in that moment, she felt a bit hungry, so they headed to the food stalls. Akira was amazed at the sight of her devouring the dishes voraciously. Still, Akira admitted that he didn't like seeing people forced to scratch themselves everywhere out of extreme deprivation, to which Yoger responded that he would have to get used to it since the concept of justice had changed over time. As he stood up to buy more food, he was surrounded by some guards pointing their weapons at him, warning Yoger that any movement from her would make him pay dearly. They seized him when a strange man approached, introducing himself as Marlin, announcing that he had prior information about the boy and the mechanical creature resembling Joy Yomi, and ordered them to surrender. Amaro rushed towards Marlin, who greeted her, thanking her for her work and clarifying that the RAR had completely fooled them. The girl instantly regretted her action. Marlin promised to return her parents' books, speaking as if he had kept his promise, then unleashed a harsh smile, revealing that the banned books had been burned long ago and no longer existed, claiming he was sorry for lying but had to do so. He threw her to the ground and ordered the guards to inflict the same punishment that her parents faced, adding that the robot would be taken with him to ensure a major promotion for himself. At that moment, Amaro attacked him in anger, striking him hard, while Yoger took advantage of the chaos to pull Akira away, and in seconds, they had escaped the place. Marlin's anger flared at losing his target as he kicked Amaro, accusing her of ruining everything, but he was taken aback to see she still held the book, which the guards ripped from her and set on fire while she cried and screamed in anguish, watching her parents' remnants turn to ash. Meanwhile, Bruta told Yogur they needed to return to save the girl, but she refused, reminding him that the girl had betrayed them and mocked them. Akira stuck to his belief that Amaro had been deceived and couldn't grasp what she had done, insisting that leaving her alone would be unjust, feeling guilty for having encouraged her before to pursue her dream without realizing the consequences. However, Yogur pointed out that she had principles she couldn't overlook, asking him if he would marry her if she succeeded in saving Muro, which angered him as he declared she was nothing but a machine without feelings, leaving Yogur visibly shocked. In a dark, sealed room, Amuro was chained, trembling with fear, calling out to her parents in a hoarse, desperate voice. Outside, Akira struggled to open the door, working tirelessly until he finally managed to break in, only to be shocked by the sight of Amuro bound before him. She froze in disbelief at seeing him, realizing he had risked his life for her, yet she feared that doing so might destroy him. As they tried to escape, she confessed that she had hidden something from him and Yugori, but Akira didn't seem to care about her lies, which left her confused. While they were fleeing, two guards spotted them and sounded the alarm. The two ran as fast as they could, Akira doing everything possible to save her, even hurling his dagger at one of the guards to buy them some time, while Yugori watched from afar without them noticing. Once they reached outside, a man was waiting for them, laughing maniacally, as if he had predicted their attempt. In that moment of distraction, the guards ambushed Amuro from behind and grabbed her. Akira tried to rescue her and was beaten, but he fought off one of the guards before being handcuffed. Instead of retreating to help Amuro, he rushed at the man and struck him. The man flew into a rage, furious that a commoner had dared to attack him, and ordered his men to subdue Akira. They held him down while the man beat him mercilessly. Seeing Akira tortured because of her broke Amuro's heart, she pleaded with them to release him, offering herself instead. Akira cut her off firmly, urging her not to give up on her pursuit of her parents' storybook. It was her greatest dream. She trembled in surprise, not expecting such words from him, realizing he truly understood and believed in her wish to become an illustrator for storybooks. The man grew even angrier and ordered one of his guards to aim his gun at Amuro, preparing to shoot. Akira could only scream, begging them to stop hurting her. At that point, Yugori couldn't stand watching anymore. She charged in like a storm, kicking away the guards, restraining Akira and Amuro until only the man was left standing. He didn't run as they expected. Instead, he ordered his men to attack her. She countered with a single powerful strike that knocked them all down. Terrified by her strength, they backed away. The man pulled out his weapon and opened fire, but Yugori deflected the bullets, protecting Akira and Amuro. He froze in disbelief, and before he could escape, she kicked him hard, sending him tumbling into a deep pit, where he was left crying for help. Meanwhile, Amuro watched the battle in awe of Yugori's mechanical abilities. After the fight ended, Akira bowed before Yugori, thanking her for saving them even though it broke her own rules. She explained that what she did was in line with her mission, which was why she stepped in. Akira remained deeply grateful to her. The next day, Yugori gave Amuro some items she had obtained from the administration clothes and drawing books. Akira gave Amuro some privacy to change, and while helping her, Yugori removed the scars on her back. Amuro thanked her and asked her to erase the emblem printed beneath her body. Yugori warned her it would be painful, but Amuro insisted, so she replaced it with an artistic design instead. Akira admired Yugori's skill and asked about her abilities. She explained how it worked, while Amuro, full of excitement, didn't finish dressing before expressing her wish to start illustrating stories with them. Yugori agreed to have her join, and Akira approved, promising to follow wherever she wished. He then urged her to hurry and get dressed so they could leave. The three set off toward Amuro's hometown. When they arrived, they heard someone calling out that there was one room available for rent. Akira hoped to get it so he could take a bath after the long journey. But before they could approach, Amuro spotted guards stationed near the corner of the building. Looking around, she realized that the Fika season had begun a time of union festivals. She explained that they didn't need those celebrations since they already shared the same path and fate. At the mention of the Fika festival, Yugori's expression changed with jealousy, and she declared before Amuro that she was Akira's partner, insisting they were lovers. Amuro denied it vehemently. Feeling the tension rising, Akira stepped in to clarify that he was traveling in search of a woman named Tawasa, whom he loved deeply and had dedicated his life to. Even so, Amuro suggested that they could still stay together even after he found that woman. Yugori decided to test her feelings in a different way. She knew she loved Akira, but wanted to attend the festival to see if her heart might sway towards someone else. If it didn't, she'd be certain of her true love for him. Akira didn't seem eager to encourage the idea, but before he could respond, Amuro had already agreed, leaving him no chance to object. That night, Calcrame, who aspired to lead the Lano family, held a meeting with Major Yamabuki, who was there to deliver money. Calcrame showed him some stored weapons, and Yamabuki examined them, asking whether they were meant for defense or preparation for an upcoming war. During their conversation, a group of men suddenly burst in, and the guards jumped to fight them until they realized the men belonged to Lady Fidus. They immediately stopped. Fidus entered, apologizing for the disruption her men caused, introducing herself as the eldest daughter of the Lontano family. She explained that she came rushing when she heard their guests were in danger. Her words left the major stunned and confused. Fidus revealed that one of Calcrame's men was a spy and declared she would deal with him herself. as the next heir to the family. The man was identified and handcuffed. Furious, he shouted that they only recognized Calcrame as their leader. He lunged at Fidus to attack her, but Calcrame quickly shot him to stop the chaos. After the incident, Fidus left, instructing her chief guard to wrap up the remaining matters. Some of those present began wondering about the relationship between Fidus and Calcrame. One man explained that they were half-siblings. Their father had 10 children, but 8 had been killed in a bloody conflict, leaving only Fidus and Calcrame alive. The father, who held the position of clan leader, had planned to leave many heirs, but with only 2 survivors, he was uncertain about who would succeed him. The next morning, the head of the Lano family summoned Calcrame and Fidus and announced that he didn't care who took leadership. He only wanted the one most worthy of the responsibility. Therefore, he ordered both to participate in the Fika festival and choose partners to prove their commitment. Fidus promised her father she would find her partner at the festival, while Calcrame thought she was rushing into it. At the same time, Amuro and Yugori were preparing to attend the festival that evening, while Akira declared he didn't want to go, so they went without him. Later, Akira stepped outside for some fresh air and overheard a group of men excitedly talking about 2 people named Fidus and Calcrame coming to the festival. His curiosity was piqued to learn who they were. A woman from a nearby shop noticed him and told him that Fidus and Calcrame were heirs of the Lontano family, the most powerful family in town, which ruled over the whole region. Akira was stunned and uneasy after hearing this, realizing how important those 2 were. Meanwhile, Amuro and Yugori arrived at the festival. Amuro hurried to meet her old friends from town, greeted them warmly, and explained why she had come, even though the idea had been hers in the first place. Yugori, on the other hand, easily blended into the crowds, chatting and enjoying the lively, vibrant atmosphere. After hearing about Fidus and Calcrame, Akira decided to head to the festival as well. He dressed properly and slipped in through the blooming trees to avoid drawing attention. His only goal was to make sure Amuro and Yugori were safe, even if from afar. At the festival, Fidus became the center of attention. Men lined up before her, hoping she'd choose one of them as her partner, but none met her standards. Bored and irritated, she left, wishing she'd find someone truly worthy of her. As night fell and the festival lights glimmered, Amuro spotted Akira hiding nearby. She felt a rush of relief and happiness, assuming he'd come out of concern for her. He admitted her safety was one reason for coming, though not the only one. Later, as he walked through the crowded passage, he accidentally bumped into Fidus, spilling some of her drink onto her dress. He quickly apologized, trying to find something to wipe the stain, and when his eyes caught her insignia, he realized who she was, Fidus herself. Flustered, he tried to step away before things got worse, but she grabbed his hand, stopping him. Intrigued by his calmness and composed manner, she insisted on speaking with him privately and pulled him aside. Amuro saw them together, nervously intervening to apologize on Akira's behalf, saying his behavior was just a remnant of an older time. Akira froze in disbelief that she revealed such a thing, while Fidus grew intrigued, shocked that someone from a bygone era could still be alive. Akira explained that his survival was made possible by a scientific procedure that kept his body preserved in a long state of stasis, and that he had recently awakened after an earthquake damaged the device. Fidus listened attentively, sensing he was telling the truth, and began to admire him. She then asked him to consider pairing with her during the festival, saying she was starting to believe the rumors about people like him. Amuro tensed, uneasy with the idea, but Fidus continued, assuring Akira she would protect him from the owls, the group hunting him. Akira was taken aback by her bold proposal, not expecting someone of her high status to make such an offer. She pointed toward a nearby man and introduced him as her half-brother, Calcrame, explaining that they were locked in an ongoing rivalry over the family's succession. While Akira tried to process her words, Calcrame suddenly knelt before Yugori, announcing his wish to be paired with her in front of everyone. Amuro gasped in shock, unable to believe what she was seeing. The whole scene was thrown into confusion. Even Fidus herself was stunned by her brother's sudden move. We moved to Eurus's house, and it seems that Calcroma found a wife for himself at the Fika festival, and is waiting for a new baby to join the family. But Calcroma thinks it's not the right time yet, while Eurus wants to secure the family's future completely. Then we move to Fides, who is brushing her horse. She tells herself that everyone is waiting for Calcroma's marriage, because that marriage is seen as a done deal. One of her guards comes to her, upset, wanting to tell her something, but she reminds him not to come near the stables again. Still, the man insists he has something important to tell her. Before he can speak, Fides tells him that she has finally found her own partner, so there's no need to worry. Next, we go to Yoguri's house, where Akira feels angry after Yoguri tells him she's going on a date with Calcroma. Amori also doesn't agree with this, but Yoguri accepted Calcroma's invitation because she wanted to have some reference, and that's all there is to it. After that, the door opens, and Calcroma enters with an expensive bouquet of flowers. He approaches Yoguri and offers her the bouquet, leaving her surprised by the beauty and value of the flowers. She realizes it's a very expensive kind, and also learns that this type of flower symbolizes true love, something Calcroma also knew and brought on purpose. This shocks Akira. Yoguri tells him that Calcroma knows exactly what she likes. Then Akira asks Calcroma about his real intentions and what he wants from Yoguri, but Calcroma thinks Akira is Yoguri's fiancé, and Yoguri confirms it only for Akira to deny it. Calcroma just smiles a little, which annoys Akira, He remembers the time he met Fides and thought they were connected. When he returns to the present, Fides arrives and calls out to Akira, inviting him on a date as well. She asks him to go with her, though Akira doesn't know where. Fides then explains that he's now her chosen marriage partner and that she's taking him on a proper date. Yoguri and Amori are both shocked and approach Akira, asking him to tell them everything. But Akira only says it happened because of a small incident. Akira then asks Fides if she's being serious, but Fides says she has no time for games. Calchroma congratulates Fides for finding her marriage partner and suggests they all go on a date together. It's also a good chance to spy on their enemies. They leave the house, and Amori is impressed by Calchroma's car and loves its color. Calchroma tells her he has some influence that gives him supplies and information from Tokyo. This surprises Akira, who immediately asks him how Tokyo is and if he knows anything about it. But Calchroma doesn't give away anything for free and doesn't tell him easily either. They get into the car and drive off, arriving at the market. Someone is watching them from afar. Yoguri stops at a jewelry shop and admires a piece there. Calchroma asks if he can buy her a necklace as a gift. Akira watches them from a distance, observing how Calchroma acts with Yoguri. Fides approaches Akira and asks what's distracting him, then hands him some gifts to carry. Akira doesn't think this really feels like a date. Then Amori walks over to Akira and says they shouldn't have agreed to come along, but Akira has his reasons he didn't want to leave Yoguri alone with Calchroma. Fides was the first person he met who already knew something. He looks at Fides and notices she's not doing great either. He tells himself that even blood relatives can marry each other, though he finds that very uncomfortable. He remembers something similar with a friend of his, but then snaps back to the present, still unable to do anything, which worries Amori. Fides then calls out to Akira again, and he moves toward her quickly. Yoguri, meanwhile, is distracted by Akira, but Calchroma tries to divert her attention away from him and tells her that their chat date has just begun and she shouldn't worry about anything. Yoguri gestures that they should move somewhere a bit more private. She walks ahead, and Calchroma follows. When they reach an empty spot, Yoguri asks why he made it a double date when that wasn't part of their plan. Calchroma replies that she wants her fiancé to feel jealous of her, so she has to make him see them in a situation together to spark that jealousy. Yoguri thinks that's a good point, though Calchroma didn't expect Fides to show up. Yoguri tells him that Fides is now her #1 enemy, even though she knows she's his sister. Calchroma says what's happening now is fine, and that their plan is moving in the right direction. Then Calchroma remembers the past, the time he met Yoguri at a party when she was drunk and bumped into her. He offered to get someone to help her, but she refused, saying she didn't need help from anyone. She wondered who he thought he was. Was it because he was an android? This surprises Calchroma, who says with astonishment, "Android?" He looks at her closely and asks what an android is doing in a place like that. Yoguri replies that she came to the party to prove to her fiancé that her love is real. When Calchroma hears this, he wants to understand the whole story from the beginning and learn everything about her. When they return to the present, he tells her he thinks they need a little excitement in their story. But Yoguri asks Calchroma what he's really trying to achieve after he already proposed to her, and now this fake date. Calchroma says it's all pointless, that the relationship between a human and an android isn't realistic. Still, if such a relationship ever works, he wants to witness it himself. Then we shift to Amori, who's amazed by the painting colors she finds. Akira buys her a set, and Fides asks what he's going to buy for her too. Akira gives her flowers, which she deeply admires. Then Yoguri comes up to Akira, feeling jealous about how he treats Fides. But Akira asked Yoguri where she had been, but Yoguri didn't answer him, and told him that it didn't concern him. Then Akira suggested going somewhere else, and they moved to a big library in the city center. But Calchroma thought that reading books on a date was boring, while Amori believed that many of her father's stories were stored in that place. Akira also had some research he wanted to finish. He found a very important book and picked it up, but Fides told him that a book like that wouldn't help him at all, and that the law book he had wasn't very credible. Then they left the library. Amori was surprised to see an alley in front of them, and thought there must be many like it, so she ran into it. They followed her, but she didn't appear, so they started searching for her everywhere. However, Fides didn't want to do this. She said it wasn't her business, and that what she was doing was hopeless and would just take her backward. Then she remembered when they were kids playing hide and seek, and how they were always found because of Calchroma. Fides told Calchroma he always cried and gave them away, and also told him that when she grew up and became the boss, she'd always keep him safe. She came back to the present and found Calchroma in front of her. Calchroma asked Fides what she was doing, but Fides told him she wasn't doing anything, left him, and walked away. But before she disappeared, Calchroma reminded Fides how they used to play hide and seek as kids, which made her stop and listen. While they were talking, Akira was looking for Amori and saw them talking, thinking they were having a moment together. Then Yoguri found Amori, and they headed toward Akira to tell him she was fine, but Akira told them to be quiet. Then we go back to Fides, who asked Calchroma what was with those nostalgic moments. Calchroma said he just wanted to remind her of their past, and picked up a big piece of cloth, placing it over her shoulders so she'd remember their days together. But Fides walked away and told him she didn't remember anything. Akira and the others had heard everything, and Akira said to himself that they were troublesome, and that there was something between them, but he couldn't fully understand it. Then he looked at Yuguri's necklace and asked if she really needed to wear it. Yuguri felt Akira was jealous, but Akira denied it and told her that even if he were jealous, she still didn't understand the meaning of love yet. Yuguri told Akira she did all this with Kalkroma to test him and to fully understand what was going on in his head. Then, angry, Yuguri asked Akira if he was going to marry Fides. Amori also stepped forward and asked Akira, but he told them he wouldn't and that he was engaged to Tawasa. Then Akira asked Yuguri if she would marry Kalkroma, but she answered that it remained to be seen, which shocked everyone. Then they drove off again, but on the way, the car tire got damaged. Akira fixed it, and Kalkroma asked if he could really do it. Akira said he learned from his father, but when Kalkroma was young, he was taught only one thing to devote his whole life to the family. Akira then asked Kalkroma if he was serious about Yuguri. Kalkroma said he found Yuguri attractive. Akira asked because they were traveling together, but Kalkroma was surprised that this was all Akira cared about. Then Akira asked Kalkroma about his relationship with Fides, and he said he couldn't pull everyone toward him. One of the tire tools dropped under the car, and Akira went underneath to pick it up. Akira told Kalkroma that he didn't have any feelings for Fides, but Kalkroma said he didn't care who Fides chose to be with. However, he warned Akira that if he ever broke her heart, he'd kill anyone who did that. Akira then realized that Kalkroma was deeply in love with Fides and told him so. Then we switched to the girls. Yuguri said that love was a mysterious thing. Amori said that Yuguri was still searching for her true love, while for Fides, it wasn't really important. But while they were loading cargo boxes, an accident almost killed one of the dock workers. Yuguri reacted quickly and saved him effortlessly, which frightened someone watching from afar, who then hid. Amori was shocked by Yuguri's speed, and Fides was confused by what had happened. Fides then discovered that Yuguri was an android, and that she couldn't have children with Kalkroma, which meant their marriage would be meaningless. She wondered what Kalkroma was thinking too. Then Kalkroma and Akira arrived to check on them. Kalkroma asked what had happened, and Fides pointed to the accident scene and told Kalkroma that he had now found what he was looking for. Then she left. Akira told Kalkroma to go after Fides, but Kalkroma told Akira that he should go after her instead, because Akira would be her life partner. While running, Fides remembered her memories with Kalkroma, their childhood arguments about who would be the boss, and their shared tears, until she returned to the present. Then Akira arrived, and Fides thought Akira was a good man for following her. She confessed to Akira that Kalkroma would make a better boss than her. He was skilled, charming, and had a big heart. Any child unfit for leadership would be thrown to the wolves, but he cared for them all, managing jobs and supporting them. She told Akira that she had to become the boss since she was the Lantano family head, though it was painful for such a kind man like him. Then we moved to Yoris's house, where his bodyguard informed him that Yuguri was an android. Yoris wasn't comfortable leaving Kalkroma single for too long. He wanted to bring him into the Lantano family, and wanted to get him before Oil did. Then we went to a restaurant. Kalkroma told Yuguri that the restaurant belonged to them, and said it was the perfect ending for a double date. Then he asked Yuguri if she would marry him, which shocked Akira and Amori, and made Fides feel sad. But Yuguri refused to marry Kalkroma because she thought it would be confirming love artificially, realizing that he needed to prove his true love on his own. Akira thought to himself that in this age, nothing should stop people from having the kind of relationship they wanted. Then he asked if everything was going well, and told them they needed to talk about it. Suddenly, Yoris appeared with a large group of men, and demanded that Kalkroma hand over Yuguri. He also said he knew there was chemistry between them and assumed that Kalkroma didn't want to have children, planning instead to kill Yoris and take over the family. Kalkroma tried to defend himself, but Yoris interrupted, saying that the android and the weapons Kalkroma had bought were from Oil's army, and that it was a pity because he had high hopes for them. Kalkroma told Yoris that the weapons were just for precaution and the android too. Then Fides asked Kalkroma, "So you weren't fighting me?" Kalkroma answered, "Of course not." A gun was thrown to Fides, and Yoris ordered her to kill Kalkroma to become the next boss. Kalkroma told Fides to do it so they wouldn't all be killed, but Akira begged her not to. Then Kalkroma grabbed the gun from Fides and pointed it toward Yoris, which made Yoris furious. He asked Fides if she was planning to betray the family too, but Kalkroma told Yoris that the family he was talking about was his own. No one stood by Yoris, not even his own children, and then he fired, hitting one of Yoris's men. Yoris ordered his men to stop the android and said he didn't care about anyone else's life. Then Yuguri woke up but was tipsy. She told them that if they were going to fight, they should at least take it outside. Yoris ordered his men to attack, saying that Yuguri wasn't in her best condition, and was drunk. That angered Yuguri, who, at the word drunk, released a thick white smoke and activated her drunken mode, saying that androids had the right to have some fun from time to time. She threatened them, but there was someone secretly aiming at her. Akira noticed this, ran forward to save her, and took the bullet instead. The bullet almost hit Yuguri, but it didn't, and Akira fell unconscious to the ground. Kalakuroma killed the sniper, but blood flowed from Akira to the ground. Yugori asked Akira, "Why did you jump in front of me?" But Akira asked Yugori if she wasn't hurt, right? But Eurus ordered his men to cease fire, and Yugori used healing magic to treat Akira quickly. But Yugori asked Amori to take care of Akira until she finished with these men. But Akira asked Yugori not to kill him, and Amori confirmed this to Yugori. But Yugori saw that Eurus was the one who tried to kill Akira first. Then Yugori asked Kalakuroma to step back a little, and she fired a group of white orbs that killed Eurus's men. Then Boris attacked Yugori but couldn't hit her. He directed several strikes at her, but Yugori dodged all the strikes. Then she grabbed Eurus's sword and broke it, then struck him, causing him to fall to the ground at the feet of Kalakuroma and Vetus. She told them she would leave him for them to do whatever they wanted with him, but Kalakuroma believed he should prove whether he deserved to be a successor. But Yugori went to continue treating Akira, but on the other side, Kalakuroma threatened Eurus. Then we moved to Tawasa in her place, working on her experiments as well. But there was a machine with her in the place, but only a voice, and it told Tawasa she should take a rest because she had worked for 27 consecutive hours. But Tawasa was almost finished. But Tawasa asked the machine if it could feel emotions toward a human, but the machine told her it loved her but had no feelings because it was a machine, and Tawasa knew this. Then we moved to Akira lying in bed, and Yugori was tying a lucky charm for him to speed up his healing. She told him she was wearing one like it, but Akira no longer felt any pain, but the scar hadn't disappeared yet. Then Amori joined them and ran toward Akira and hugged him, telling him he had been sleeping for a week, which shocked Akira. Then Kalakuroma and Vetus joined them, and Vetus asked about Akira's condition, but Akira didn't feel any pain. But Amori told Akira he didn't feel any pain because Yugori took very good care of him. Akira looked at Yugori gratefully and thanked her, but Yugori felt embarrassed and told him she was the one who should thank him. Then Kalakuroma saw that Akira was in good condition and threw him a red fruit, asking him to forgive him for getting him involved in their family conflict. But Akira had lost consciousness before the conflict was resolved and wanted to know what happened. Vetus told Akira that the leader had mandatory retirement, and Kalakuroma told Akira that the leader also suffered a crushing defeat in front of everyone and hadn't caused problems after that. Vetus would be the next leader, and Kalakuroma would support her too, and things were changing within the Lontano family thanks to Kalakuroma and Vetus. Then night fell and they moved to Eurus's office. Then Kalakuroma told Akira he heard he was heading to Sendai after that, and Akira confirmed this to him. But Vetus offered Akira to visit the resort if he had some time. But Akira asked if they had hot springs at the resort. Kalakuroma confirmed the existence of hot springs in New Tour City, which amazed Amori and Yugori. Akira thought this was great, but he wanted to reach Tokyo as quickly as possible. But Akira was pressured by Amori and Yugori, which led to his agreement. But Kalakuroma approached Yugori and told her that he and Vetus had changed a lot. He approached Yugori and asked her if she had found her true love, but Yugori wasn't sure yet. But Kalakuroma told her she had plenty of time to discover. Then we moved to Akira with Yugori and Amori on their way to the springs in the car. Akira asked Oboro the driver why he changed his job, but Oboro told him this profession made him earn more money. But Oboro told Akira he had a beautiful girl with him today, and he saw a wonderful future for them, which embarrassed Yugori, and she didn't see this future. After they arrived at the springs location, Amori presented a picture to Oboro that she had drawn for him to commemorate their meeting. Oboro thanked Amori and told her she would become a good artist. When they saw the river, they were very amazed. But at the end of the road, there was a problem between two ladies, and there was a man between them trying to resolve this conflict. But when he asked them to calm down, the two ladies scolded him. Then Akira approached them, but the fight had started between them. When one lady hit the other, she didn't hit her but hit Akira, causing Akira to fall to the ground. Then they entered the lady's house, and the lady apologized to Akira. The man asked Akira, "Are you okay?" But Akira asked the man, "Are you the cause of this conflict?" But the man told Akira he was a guest in this place, and was just trying to resolve the conflict between them, nothing more. The lady confirmed this, which led to Akira apologizing to the man for thinking badly of him. Then the man introduced himself to Akira, called Yakurata, and Akira also introduced himself to the man. The lady also introduced herself as Ajisai, owner of the Kiji no Yu Inn, and apologized to Akira again for what happened. But Akira accepted her apology, but he asked her what happened to cause this conflict. Then Ajisai told Akira that Hanoyama was her lover, and she was a commissioner in oil and was busy all the time. When their relationship began, she promised her she would run the inn with her, but she always refused and was always on business trips and didn't return home. She also forgot their wedding anniversary date, and this wasn't once or twice but more. But Yakurata thought now things had calmed down because of Akira and his sacrifice. But Akira still felt pain. But Ajisai offered Akira a free overnight room as compensation for what happened, which surprised Akira. But Amori thought the punch was worth it, which made them laugh. But Yugori didn't join them and was alone. Then Ajisai moved them to a beautiful room with a very wonderful view in front of it, and this room was the pride of the entire inn. She also told them about shared baths at the resort, which made them feel shy. But Amori told them they could bathe all three together, but Akira strongly refused this. But Ajisai also told them that their waters grant success between lovers, and many guests who bathe together end up in love relationships. Amori loved this very much, but Akira was about to object. but Yugori made him be quiet and told him that the hot spring grants great blessing. Then, Ajisai asked them, "You three aren't connected, right?" Akira told her they weren't like that, and they didn't intend this. But Amori told him they should do this. But Yugori told her they would get married. But Akira sat on the ground and told them there was no connection or marriage or mixed bathing. Then Amori asked Yugori to go bathing, and Yugori immediately agreed. Then we moved to the spring where Yugori and Amori were bathing, and Amori felt that Yugori was acting strangely. But Yugori, whenever she was in front of Akira, felt rapid heartbeats. Then they moved to the steam room, and Amori thought that what was happening with Yugori was a case of love, and that she had read this in a book before. When you think about someone like her, it's natural for your heart to beat fast. But Yugori saw that this wasn't a good thing. Amori saw that Yugori hadn't told him yet, but Yugori was doing this all the time. But Amori told Yugori that she loved them both, and wanted them to stay connected forever. Then she put water on the stone so the steam would spread. Then we moved to Akira's room, and he had some questions but didn't know the answers to them. Then Yugori joined him and asked if he needed anything. But Akira told Yugori that he was still struggling with the idea of not having answers to his questions, and that this was very secret. But Yugori doesn't use these phrases just for fun. Then Akira asked Yugori what happened to this world, but Akira's answer was, "This is very secret." Then Akira got angry and asked Yugori why was she created. But Yugori's answer was, "This is very secret." He tried again to ask about Tawasa, but Yugori told him, "This is very secret." Then Yokarada appeared with two girls, and told them he heard their conversation about Tawasa. Then Yokarada told them he knew Tawasa. He told the girls to wait for him somewhere else. Then he told Akira that he used to work for Owl, and there he met Professor Tawasa. But Akira stared at Yokarada strangely, but Yokarada asked him not to look at him like that, and told him he was no longer associated with Owl, and that he was now just a peaceful academic who doesn't report any information about the aliens or their behavior. But Akira discovered that he knew Yugori, and Yokarada knew a lot in the past. But Akira asked Yokarada to tell him what he knew about Tawasa. But Yokarada told him he knew Tawasa was a professor, but he didn't know much about her. Then Yokarada asked Yugori if there was any objection if he told Akira some information. But Yugori didn't object, because if Akira finds this information in his own way, she wouldn't interfere in this. Yokarada told Akira he would tell him, but also asked him to stop being formal, because he preferred dealing simply without complications. Then they sat at the table facing each other, and he told him this was a war between artificial intelligence and humans that led to the killing of billions of humans. But Akira thought this, but when he heard about it, it became much worse. Then Yokarada continued talking, and said that Tawasa was the one who ended this destruction, which surprised Akira, and he asked Yokarada, why doesn't anyone know what happened? Yokarada told him because Owl imposed restrictions on digital technology and historical knowledge, and they are desperate to repeat humanity's dark past. Here, Akira discovered the connection, and Yokarada told Akira that the people living today don't know that their world was built on a large number of sacrifices. But Akira, after discovering that Tawasa was the savior, asked Yokarada, how did she end the war? Yokarada answered by deploying the Outside series, which are combat mechanisms designed by Professor Tawasa, and with this she ended the war. But the girls belonging to Yokarada came and asked him to come with them. But Akira asked him to know one last thing. What happened to Tawasa after that? But Yokarada told him no one knows. After the war ended, Tawasa created the Owl organization alongside the Six Sages, and after accomplishing this, she disappeared without a trace, which surprised Akira that Tawasa was the one who founded Owl. But Yokarada told him this was the last time Tawasa was seen. But Akira thought she might still be alive. But Yokarada told him the war ended 200 years ago, and logic says she departed long ago, which saddened Akira. But Yugori asked Akira if he was okay, but Akira told her he was fine. Then Akira moved to the game room, and while he was playing, he remembered Yokarada's words, and his mind was also occupied with Tawasa. Then he moved to the spring, and felt very comfortable. Then we moved to Amori, who was practicing drawing, and Ajisai joined her and saw that Amori was very talented. Then Hanoyama also joined them, and told them the garden was very beautiful. But Ajisai asked Hanoyama if she was annoyed by those who act like they know everything yet refuse to help. But Hanoyama also asked, don't you hate when someone schedules a date without even checking the other person's schedule first? Ajisai asked, can you imagine someone who prefers his work over his girlfriend? But Hanoyama saw that Ajisai was very selfish in her feelings. But Ajisai thinks that taking care of a friend and partner is very important. But Amori, who was between them, felt very confused and then ran away from them out of fear. After that, Akira went to Ajisai and Yokarada, and Akira asked Yokarada if he was done with his bath now. But Ajisai approached Akira and told him she thought he was happy with his recent bath, which annoyed Akira greatly, and that Ajisai wanted their guests to have unforgettable moments with those they love. But Akira saw that love was a very strong word. But Yokarada was surprised that Akira was bathing with someone who had no feelings, and both of them teased Akira. Then Yokarada Yokurada was telling Amori about the best place for drawing and pointed it out on the map. It was the third impact crater, a huge hole created by the war, and the view from there was also wonderful. Hanoyama confirmed this too, and Amori insisted on going there. Hanoyama told her she would guide her because it's easy to get lost, and she was also going to work there, which made Amori feel happy. Yokurada could also join them, and Amori told Yokurada she would draw a picture of him as a token of thanks. Then Akira asked Yugori if there was something he could do for her, because she took care of him when he was injured, and he wanted to return the favor. But Yugori hadn't thought about this. Then she asked Akira to go out on a date with him. Yugori and Amori were sleeping, and Akira went to the pool, but he found Yokurada and Hanoyama in the pool together, which made him feel disgusted. He asked them, "Why are you together?" But Yokurada told him that this pool is mixed, and asked him to come swim with them. After that, Akira ate food with Yugori and Amori, and when Yugori finished her food, she entered the room without talking to anyone, which made Akira surprised. After that, Yugori woke Amori up from sleep, and told her that she wanted advice from her. Then Amori got ready to go with Yokurada, and Akira asked Yokurada to take care of Amori. Hanoyama was also going with them, but she told Akira that the bath they were in together in the morning was refreshing, which made Amori angry at Akira because he swam with Hanoyama. But Akira told Amori that it's not what she thinks, but Amori threatened Akira when she returns from her trip. Then Ajisai appeared behind Akira and asked him if he enjoyed the morning, but Akira said it's not what you think and that it was a coincidence. Then Yugori also appeared, which made Akira amazed by her beauty. Ajisai said to Yugori that she gave her the best thing she has to wear. Yugori asked Akira for his opinion of her, but he told her good, which led to him getting hit by Ajisai. She told him without Yugori hearing that she prepared everything, so please be happy with her too, and asked him to get a kiss from her. Then we moved to Amori, Yokurada, and Hanoyama on their way to the Great Explosion Crater. Hanoyama said that this place is her favorite place, and that she extracts minerals from it. Yokurada said to Hanoyama, "So you extract minerals because of your work at oil, right? And will you remove the springs too?" He discovered that she is a supervisor at oil, but she is trying to prevent this. But Hanoyama is trying to stop this, and this is the reason for her work at oil. And she doesn't want to tell Ajisai about removing the springs, because she loves the springs a lot and might not forgive her. Then we move to Akira and Yugori. Yugori said that the weather is nice today, and asked Akira if he's ready for the date. Akira said a little, but he wants to enjoy more with her. Then Akira said, "Let's go to this store." And he brought kofta skewers and gave Yugori a kofta skewer, but she refused because she doesn't want her face to puff up on the date. But Akira asked her if it makes you fat, but Yugori told him that it's an internal feeling for them. But she took the kofta skewer and tasted it, which made her like it very much. After that, Yugori liked the flowers a lot and told Akira that they presented flowers to Fidelis, and Akira understood that she also wants him to give her flowers. But Akira asked her which she prefers, flowers or dango. Yugori answered, flowers of course, but her stomach didn't stay quiet and was asking for dango. Then they moved to a foot bath, and Akira presented ice cream in the shape of a flower to Yugori and thought that the flower suits her. Yugori thought that what Akira just said is very rude. Then we moved to Amori with her friends, and she drew a beautiful painting of the place. Hanoyama said that this place is very good for dating. Amori remembered Yugori when she asked her for advice and told her that she has a date with Akira today, and Amori asked her to come with them. But Yugori asked Amori to leave them alone because this is a date. After thinking, Amori agreed to this, but she was sad. When she returned to her present, she said that she wanted to go with them too. Hanoyama asked Amori, "Is something wrong?" Then we moved to Akira and Yugori in the forest. Akira was enjoying the view, and while Yugori was walking behind him, she almost fell to the ground because she tripped, but she was supported by Akira, but her shoe was cut. Then Akira fixed the shoe until she could move with it with more freedom. She told Akira that she is very happy. Akira told Yugori that she is very beautiful, which made Yugori feel embarrassed. Then we moved to Amori, and she told them that she didn't mind yesterday that they go alone, but now she doesn't feel comfortable. Yokurada asked Amori to express her feelings by talking. Amori said that she loves Akira and Yugori a lot, and wants to be with them always. Yokurada discovered that this is jealousy or envy, and asked her to talk to them. Amori thought the matter is embarrassing, but she will talk to them. Then Yokurada asked Hanoyama, what's wrong with her too? He asked her if she's afraid that Ajisai will withhold her love. Hanoyama knows that Ajisai is kind-hearted. Then we moved to Tawasa in the year 2045. Then Tawasa asked the machine with her, can artificial intelligence love a human? But the machine said that artificial intelligence doesn't have a heart and no feelings, so she sees it as impossible. Tawasa confirmed this and said, if her whole life is for someone, you would want to be a precious person to them. The machine asked Tawasa if she is a precious person to her. Tawasa told her that she is indeed like that, but she can't marry her. Then we moved to Akira and Yugori. Akira was very impressed with the place, and asked Yugori if she made this place. But Yugori denied that she did this, and that Ueyami is the one who made it. Akira asked Yugori, are you the one who came to Hakodate Research Center? Yugori confirmed that it is indeed her, and that she is her sister, and they were made as automatic weapons to end the war. Here Akira discovered that Yugori belongs to the Outlanders series. Then Yugori asked Akira about his opinion of her as a war weapon, but Akira couldn't answer, and told her that he's not sure because he still doesn't comprehend reality. Yugori asked Akira if he feels afraid because she is a war weapon, but Akira told her that she helped a lot and that he is very grateful to her. Yugori told Akira that if he wants her to dig a hole for him here too, she will do it. Then Akira got angry at Yugori because she refused to eat food and turned it into a talk about weapons, which surprised Yugori when she heard the word date from Akira. Akira immediately changed his words, that it's not a date, but an outing, which made Yugori laugh. She told Akira that she felt depressed for a moment and asked him to marry her, which surprised Akira. He laughed a lot after that, and it seems he hasn't heard this sentence in a long time. Then Yugori held Akira's hand and told him that she wants to take a picture of them before they return so she doesn't forget this day. Then she got ready for the picture with him and told him that the date was fun. She also told him if he wants to kiss her, this is a good opportunity, but she told him she's joking, but she also told him that she loves him, which surprised Akira, and this appeared in the picture. Then they returned to Ajisai's inn. Ajisai was waiting for them and asked them which place they reached. Akira said they reached the Great Explosion Crater. After that, Amori and her friends also came, and Ajisai welcomed them, but she went inside because she is angry at Hanoyama. But Hanoyama ran to Ajisai and stopped her and told her everything, and that the oil company wants to turn the entire place into a mining area to extract minerals, which surprised Ajisai. She told Hanoyama that she will be a supervisor over this, right? But Hanoyama told her that she is still working at oil until she stops this decision. But Ajisai told Hanoyama that the company will think she's a traitor, but Hanoyama is not interested in all this. But Ajisai told her she can't say this, and started thinking about the matter, because waiting will cause harm to her and the springs. But Hanoyama told her not to hesitate, and that she is the most precious thing to her. Ajisai asked Hanoyama, "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" Hanoyama thought that Ajisai will be sad if she knows about this. Ajisai told Hanoyama that she always hides important things from her, and asked her to slap her. Hanoyama agreed to this, but Ajisai didn't slap her, and kissed her instead. She asked her to let her bear part of her burdens with her and hugged her, which amazed the others. Then we moved to Yugori and Amori's room, and Yugori was combing Amori's hair. Amori told Yugori that she saw them today, but she was angry because she wasn't with them. Yugori said to Amori that's why she asked for her advice, which greatly upset Amori. But Yugori was happy that they spent the day alone, and that she realized something precious. She also told her that love is closer on the battlefield, and that she became one step closer to marriage, which made Amori sad because she left them alone and that she won't back down anymore. Yugori told her to go ahead, and she'll be waiting for her. The next day, Akira, Amori, and Yugori said goodbye to Hanuyama and Ajisai and continued on their way. They were happy that Hanuyama and Ajisai have reconciled now and are happy, and that they trust in the magic of the spring. Then they met Yukirata on their way, and Akira asked Yukirata, "What are you doing here?" Yukirata said he's also looking for something like them and that he'll accompany them. He also told him that he knows Sendai like the back of his hand and that he could be their guide. Then they moved by bus and moved to another hotel, and Yukirata was a guest with Akira in one room. The next day, while Akira and Yukirata were on the bus, Yukirata asked Akira to borrow his watch. Akira said to Yukirata that he should have told him from the beginning. When they arrived, Yukirata returned the watch to Akira and said he saw something beautiful in it. Then Akira moved forward and was amazed to see Sendai from above. Yukirata told them about the existence of many places for training the elite who will work in Tokyo, and you can call it the city of scholars, and that all kinds of knowledge converge here, even records and memory fragments hidden from people's eyes. Amori asked if everything was certain, but Yukirata assured her that if it's not here, then it's not anywhere else unless you enter oil company's headquarters. Akira decided he would search for it. Yugori told Akira that oil imposes strict restrictions on information, and asked Akira how he plans to gather information. But Yukirata has several ways, which surprised Akira because this is the city where all information gathers in the knowledge warehouse of Sendai. When they moved there, Amori wondered, "Is this a library? It's very huge." Yukirata said this is Sendai's pride. It's the knowledge center, and perhaps Akira will find what he's looking for in this center. Then they entered, but there was a small number of books. Amori went to check something. Yukirata said to Akira that what you need might not be on this shelf, and that the librarian here wouldn't miss something like this. Akira asked Yukirata if he knows her, but when the librarian saw Yukirata, she welcomed him. Yukirata said to her, "Hello, Susato." Then Susato approached Yukirata and told him he should have called her before coming here and asked him, "Who are these people with you?" Then Akira asked Susato about Twasa Omegi and whether there are books about the AI war, which surprised Susato. Yukirata told her that he knows they're forbidden books, but Susato is also an employee at oil company. But Yukirata used his way of dealing with Susato, which made Susato feel very embarrassed by this. Amori was on the other side checking the books. Then we returned to Susato, and she told them that the books they're looking for are forbidden, and that they shouldn't exist in this world. Yukirata saw that Susato hasn't changed at all, and asked her, "When will you finish your work today?" Susato said, "Will you invite me on a date?" But Yukirata told her, how could he not invite a woman like her on a date? But Akira wonders what Yukirata is doing. After that, they left the knowledge center, and Yugori noticed that Amori was sad, but Amori said she's fine. Then Akira said to Yukirata, "You told me that if it's not in this place, he won't won't find it anywhere else. But Yukirata told him he's not sure, and also said it might be in Tokyo, which made Amori happy. Then they moved to the train station, but the train had already left, and there's a train tomorrow afternoon. Yugori thought they have to wait, but Yukirata suggested there are some bookstores in this city, or perhaps the closed archives inside the library. And these are places where they keep valuable books, and the forbidden books are likely there. Akira asked how can they enter there, but Yukirata showed them the library key, and that he got it with a little trick. Yukirata smiles and shows them a key, saying he got it through a little magic trick. Akira is surprised to realize that Yukirata stole the key from Chisato while pretending to flirt with her. Yukirata doesn't seem bothered, knowing Chisato will forgive him if he apologizes. She's always had a soft spot for him. He tells Akira he's going on a date with Chisato, which will make it easier for Akira to search the restricted section. Akira wonders why Yukirata suddenly became nice to him, and Yukirata reveals that he's also interested in what Akira is searching for, and would appreciate it if Akira managed to find some answers. Akira is still hesitant to accept Yukirata's help, but Amori interrupts and agrees to take the key. Akira finally gives in, knowing they won't get another chance like this to explore the restricted part of the library undisturbed. Akira thanks Yukirata for letting him borrow the key, but Yukirata notes that they still have some time before nightfall. He suggests visiting the secret book market to find the information Akira needs, since it's known as a place for rare books. He urges them to go while he heads home, and Amori is surprised he's leaving them. He explains that he needs to go back and plan his date so Chisato won't suspect anything. He waves goodbye and wishes them luck. Akira decides to go back to the station and buy the next train tickets first. Yugori asks Amori if she's found anything related to the storybook about her parents, surprising her since she didn't expect anyone to notice what she was doing. Akira reminds her that they promised to search for her parents' books together, which moves her deeply and makes her rush to hug them. Suddenly, a flash appears from Yugori's head, and she pushes Akira and Amori to the other side of the street. Amori wonders what's going on, and Yugori reveals that Yuyami and Hakubo are nearby, so they must avoid them at all costs. They hide in an alley and watch the two from afar to make sure they aren't being followed. Yugori concludes that Yuyami and Hakubo figured out they were heading south by checking the towns they visited. Yugori offers to act as a decoy and lead them elsewhere through another station, but Akira doesn't like the idea because it puts her in danger. Yugori insists it's their best option to avoid a direct confrontation with the two girls. She apologizes to Amori, saying she won't be able to join her in searching for her parents' books anymore. She tells Akira to take care of her while she's gone, and warns him not to take advantage of the little girl since she won't be there to keep an eye on him. She asks him to buy her a ticket since she doesn't want to get stopped at the gate. She leaps onto the rooftop, and some scouting crows working for Hakubo spot her. An explosion follows, and Yuyami gets excited to chase Yugori, but Hakubo becomes suspicious because her behavior seems off. Yuyami ignores her doubts, seeing it as a chance she can't miss. She dives after Yugori, and Hakubo follows. Meanwhile, Akira and Amori head to the station to buy train tickets to Tokyo. They can only afford third-class seats because the prices are high, and they leave the station. Akira suggests they might have to take up small jobs since their money is running out, but Amori reassures him that it's not that bad. Suddenly, she spots a small town behind an alley, and calls Akira over to see it. They walk through the alley, and Akira gets a beautiful view of the town and its lake at the center. Amori starts exploring and drags Akira along for shopping. She buys some food and tries on different clothes in a shop before they leave. Then she takes Akira to a bracelet store. She pleads with him to buy matching bracelets yellow, red, and blue for herself, him, and Yugori. Akira reminds her that they don't have enough money, but the seller offers them a discount if they buy all three. Amori puts her bargaining skills to use, and almost manages to get them for free. The seller finally gives in, unable to beat her, and advises Akira to hold on to her and cherish her because she'll make a great partner in the future. Akira spots an earring he likes, then they leave the shop while she laughs excitedly, making him wonder what she's so happy about. She tells him she's so happy she can't control her emotions, and asks him to take her to the next store. After their shopping trip, they sit on a public bench. Amori is satisfied with what they bought, saying it's enough for their journey, and Akira knows it's all thanks to her bargaining skills. Amori's stomach growls, and she tries to hide it, but Akira takes it as a sign that it's time for lunch. He pulls out some food but struggles to eat. Amori notices how worried he is about Yugori, and that he can't eat because of it. He admits he can't stop thinking about her since Hakubo and Yuyami seem dangerous. Amori asks if he's in love with Yugori, catching him off guard. She explains that she asked because she noticed they went on a date a few days ago without her, and admits it was hard for her since she prefers being together as a trio. She knows Akira wants to marry Tuwasa, but Yugori wants to marry him, and she's caught in the middle because she wishes she could be in a relationship with both. She admits she doesn't know Tuwasa, but is sure she's a good person since she loves Akira. She agrees to turn it into a four-way relationship if that's what Akira wants. Akira explains that she's misunderstanding what he's been trying to say from the start, that the marriage he mentioned is between him and the person he truly loves. Amori remembers that Yugori told her the same thing. She holds his arm and says she loves them both equally, but Akira can't find the words to respond, so she drops the subject. They head to the secret book market, and Amori Mori is confident that Akira will find the information he needs there because the collection is amazing. Akira also feels that his search is nearing its end. He starts browsing book titles when Mr. Abro spots him and calls out to him. Akira wonders what he's doing in a place like this, and he replies that he switched to running a used bookstore because his job as a taxi driver no longer covered the bills. He asks what Akira's looking for, and Akira leans closer and whispers that he's searching for some banned books. Abro shouts in surprise, and Akira tries to quiet him before the other sellers hear, but it's already too late. They surround them because they can't let them escape after mentioning their search for the banned books. They start talking about how Owell led campaigns against them and confiscated all the banned books they had spent years collecting. They curse him for destroying their efforts during the raids, but Mr. Oru is surprised since he's never met them before. One of the sellers tells him it happened just before he arrived in the city, and Mr. Oru realizes the raid was very recent. Amaru wonders if they still have any books left, given how recent the raid was. The vendor pulls a book on electrical engineering from his pocket, saying it's the only one he managed to save from the raid. The other vendors also take out the books they hid from Owell. Akira flips through them but finds nothing containing the information he needs. The sellers apologize for getting his hopes up for nothing. They then start wondering what Owell did with all the books he confiscated during his raids. Their best guess is that the books are stored in the library. They tell Akira they're most likely kept on the locked shelves inside the library because Sasato was the one in charge of that particular raid. They're sure the books are there since that's where they keep illegal books and the ones they plan to burn. Akira doesn't feel too confident about finding the book. He believes it might have already been burned. But one vendor points out that Sashat would never allow that. She has a strange obsession with books. They speculate that she's probably keeping them safe since she can't bear to see them burn. Akira frantically reaches into his bag to look for the key, realizing the library is their best shot at finding the book thereafter. One of the vendors hands him a floor map of the library and urges him to be careful. They head to an inn and rent a room for the night, but there's only one bed. Akira offers it to Amaru. She jumps onto it and tells him to wake her up when it's time to leave. She falls asleep within seconds, and Akira can't believe how fast she dozed off. He gently takes the library map from her hands and silently apologizes to her. He promises to come back once he finds the book they're looking for. Then he heads out to the library and spends a minute watching the guards. He observes their patrol pattern and times his entrance based on it. Just as he starts to move, Amaru suddenly calls out to him angrily. She's mad that he went without her, but Akira explains he was only trying to protect her since Yugari isn't there to keep them safe. Amaru insists on joining him, as Akira wouldn't be able to recognize her parents' books without her. Akira agrees but warns her to run if things get too dangerous. Amaru accepts his condition, and they sneak into the library together. Following the floor plan, Akira leads them to the room that connects to the locked shelf section without being spotted, but they come across a metal door with a digital lock. Akira wonders why the door still works when digital technology is supposed to be banned. He feels around the handle and realizes it requires an access card. Amaru searches the desk and finds the card. They swipe it, and the door beeps, confirming access. The sound alerts one of the guards, who decides to check the room. Akira and Amaru struggle to open the door, and as the guard draws nearer, Amaru suddenly realizes it opens by pushing. They rush inside and close it just before the guard arrives. The guard assumes he imagined the sound and goes back to his patrol, but Sasato receives an alert on her phone and sits up in bed. Yukarata asks if something's wrong, and she replies that she has to go to the library because it's the only place that makes her feel alive. Inside the library, Akira and Amaru begin scanning the book titles, but Akira suddenly notices a door that seems out of place. There's something about it that makes it stand out. He moves closer, but then a guard enters from another door after hearing a noise. Akira and Amaru quickly hide while the guard searches for them. Amaru accidentally knocks over some books, and the guard heads toward the sound. They hide behind some shelves, but they can hear the guard's footsteps getting closer. Akira starts to panic, unsure of what to do, but Amaru suddenly overcomes her fear and charges at the guard. She tackles him to the ground, but he overpowers her quickly, muttering that he's lucky to get such a free meal. Akira comes up behind him and knocks him out cold. He's grateful his body still remembers the judo lessons he took years ago. They tie the guard up and enter the room. Akira turns on the light and looks around. He concludes the room must belong to someone with a bizarre obsession with banned books. Amaru comments that Akira reminded her of her father earlier. She explains that her father was always kind and gentle, but turned strict and terrifying whenever their safety was threatened. She recalls when Owell's forces raided their town, and her mother told her to run without looking back. But one soldier hit her on the head with a stick and called for another officer to grab her. Her father attacked the officer before he could reach her. Amaru was worried for him, but he ordered her to escape. He told her he loved her, but then the soldiers ganged up on him and overpowered him. Amaru was devastated, but had no choice but to run. She thanks Akira for saving her, but he brushes it off, saying he just learned self-defense in school, unlike Tuasa, who was hopeless at it. Amaru asks who Tuasa is, and Akira explains that she was like sunshine lighting up everything around her. He starts feeling nostalgic as memories flood back. Amaru checks on him to make sure he's okay, and he assures her he is. Then he suddenly notices a piece of cloth covering a glass case filled with books. He removes the cloth and examines the books inside. He stops when he sees a book on Tuasa's research. He tries to open the glass, but it won't budge. Amaru offers to break the glass with a chair, but Sasato cracks her whip and knocks the chair out of her hands. She orders the soldier to call for backup while she deals with the intruders herself. She starts screaming at them for defiling her precious darlings. She smashes the glass with her whip and frees the books inside. The book of Amaru's parents' story and Tuasa's research book fall to the ground. Akira begs Sasato to let them take those two books, since they're the only ones they need. But she refuses. She doesn't want anyone touching her books. She can't stand the thought of parting with them. Akira tries to reason with her, but Amaru loses her patience. She runs toward a lamp in the room and threatens to burn everything if Sasato doesn't hand over the books. Sasha tries to use her whip to stop her, but accidentally breaks the lamp, spilling oil all over the books. The oil catches fire, and flames consume the room. Akira grabs Amaru and tries to find a way out, but she refuses to leave without their books. He warns her not to risk it since the room is completely ablaze, but she points out that the books haven't been touched by the fire yet. She admits that Akira has already done enough for her, so she doesn't mind leaving the storybook behind, but she pleads with him to at least take Tuasa's research book. Akira steals himself and decides to go for it. Then Akira managed to get out while carrying Amori, but Amori insisted on going back there to save Towa's book. However, Akira said, "It's too late now," Amori said to Akira. "This is what you were looking for the whole time, and now you've found it." But Akira said, "It's fine." Meanwhile, Sasato was screaming really loudly on the other side and wanted to go into the library, but the library guards were stopping her. Akira figured they needed to leave, and Amori suggested they go to the hotel now. But then Yukirata came to them and told them, "I don't think you should go to the hotel," and he had brought their luggage with him. He said he didn't know when Owl's men might come knocking on their door, and told them that until their train departed, they should stay hidden somewhere. Then he handed them the bags and asked Amori, "How was your secret adventure?" Then they moved to an abandoned place, and Yukirata served them drinks. Akira apologized to Yukirata for causing him trouble and said he had always been a regular customer at the library, but Yukirata told him it was okay, that he wasn't annoyed, that he should actually be thanking Akira, and that he had been interested in what they were looking for. Akira said, "It's disappeared now," but Yukirata told them it wouldn't disappear, that it was actually right there. He looked at the children's book that Amori was holding. Akira said, "That's a children's book," but Yukirata asked them, "Do you really think they'd criminalize just a normal children's story?" Then Akira asked Amori if he could take a look at it. Akira opened the book, and it said, "The special blood. Those who had special blood in their bodies were able to use a mysterious power. They always knew what their friends around the world were thinking, and they could express their feelings in the blink of an eye. They were able to touch things far away from them, but their blood was a little too comforting. Some people used that blood for bad things, which led to their being very miserable people, and the world became filled with sadness. But then something happened. 12 kings were born from crystals of special blood, all identical to each other, not bound by the laws of nature. They used their power and broke the roots of darkness and sadness. Akira realized this power was granted by a special kind of blood, similar to the L.C. Project, which is a plan to upgrade humanity, and he said it was exactly the same thing. He said that the contents of this book were exactly what Towa had been planning, and that it was similar to Elisa too. Then Amori asked Akira, "Do you think this has something to do with Elisa's world?" But Akira wasn't sure. Then we moved to outside the place, where there were lots of soldiers. Akira asked Amori not to worry, and not to get nervous either. When the soldiers passed behind them, they both looked down at the ground so no one would recognize them. Then they got on the train, and Akira started looking for their seats. He saw that getting on had been easier than he expected. Then Amori asked about Yoguri, saying she hadn't seen her yet, but Akira knew she was fine, and that she'd come back to them. Yukirata thought there was no point in worrying about that, and that they should be celebrating, since their efforts had paid off. Then Amori asked Akira if he was sure she should keep the storybook, and pointed out that he needed it too. But Akira felt that Amori was the one who should hold on to the book. Amori said she would take good care of it. Then Amori said to herself that last night, her heart had been racing every time Akira was kind to her. Yukirata said it looked like he was a real lady killer. Then the train started moving, and Yoguri was watching over them. Once she made sure the train had departed, she took off flying, then used her speed to catch up, pinpointed their location, and finally managed to reach them. When she entered the train, Amori ran toward her and hugged her. Yoguri apologized to Amori for not being able to help her find her book. She then asked Akira to drop that disguise because he looked ridiculous. Amori told Yoguri, "You always say the truth," which made Yukirata laugh at Akira. Then they sat down, and Yoguri said to Amori, "You found your dad's storybook." Amori said it was thanks to Akira. Then Amori took a bracelet out of her bag and told them she'd found it in Sendai yesterday, and that the three of them would have matching ones. She held it up so she could put it on her. Yukirata asked if he could have one too, but Akira told him he was too late. Amori said she was sure the bracelet would look great on Yoguri, and Yoguri told Amori she'd take good care of it. Then an orange rolled in and bumped into Amori's foot, which surprised her. A man came up to them and apologized, saying he'd bought a lot of oranges because it was his wife's favorite food. Then his wife came over too and greeted them, and they were all a bit surprised by what was happening. Then the man joined them and told them his name was Vari, and that he often traveled to Omiya on business trips. He He introduced his family to them. This is his wife Kasta, and his twin kids, Rove and Kylo. Then he asked them, "Where are you headed?" Akira told him, "To Tokyo." Vari thought it was a very long trip, but for Akira it was the first time riding a train at night, so he was excited. Akira asked Vari, "You have to bring your family along because of your job, right?" Vari said he worked for Owl, so he had no choice. If they told him to move, he moved. He said he'd also gotten caught up in a fire incident that morning. On the other side, Amori was sitting with Kylo and noticed he was really talented at drawing. She asked him if he liked plants, which embarrassed Kylo, but Rav told him not to blush. Kylo told Rav he wasn't blushing out of shyness. Then Amori told Kylo that she liked drawing too, and opened her notebook so he could see her drawings. Kylo was amazed by Amori's artwork and thought she was really skilled. Yoguri thought Amori had found a fellow artist friend. Akira asked Vari if he also liked drawing, but Vari said he couldn't draw no matter what. He told them Kasta had opened her own art studio, and that Kylo had inherited this talent from her. Yukirata thought that was really interesting, and asked Kasta if he could get some drawing lessons while flirting with her, but Vari told Yukirata not to flirt with his wife. Yukirata apologized to Vari, and Vari told him his wife was very sensitive. Then Yukirata apologized to Kasta, and Kasta said it was okay, and that she wouldn't stay a pampered, sheltered princess forever. Yoguri thought Vari and Kasta were complete opposites, and assumed they probably balanced each other out for that reason. Rav said, "It's perfect harmony, isn't it?" She added that her mom was so quiet it was hard to hear her, but her dad usually repeated whatever she said in a loud voice. Vari wished Rav wouldn't say that, but Kasta was always grateful for her husband Vari's support. Akira thought to himself that he'd seen a lot of Elisa-type relationships so far, and felt like they sometimes looked like a marriage. Vari said that once he got more settled in his job, he would help out more with raising the kids. Then the train stopped at some station so it could be resupplied with coal. Amori was walking outside the train by herself and said that Akira had been really amazing today, and that it confused her. She thought he was very confident, with muscular arms and a nice smell, which made her feel shy. Then Yukirata came up behind her and told her that love distorts our perception of things, and asked her if he was wrong. Amori said that in the library, Akira chose to save her book instead of his own, and that this made her incredibly happy. She added that maybe she shouldn't feel that way, because she had put him in a difficult situation. But Yukirata told her there was nothing wrong, and that the feelings bubbling up inside her were more precious than anything else, which made Amori really happy. She also said that Yoguri had been worried about her storybook, that she was really cute, and that she had started to like her even more than before. She asked Yukirata to keep this a secret between them. Yukirata told her she always hesitated to tell them, but Amori told him that it was much deeper than that. Then Akira and Yoguri came over to them, and Yukirata asked, "Where were you?" Yoguri said they'd been taking a look at the driver's cabin. Akira said it was his first time on a steam locomotive, and that it was a lot of fun for him. Then Akira and Yoguri got back on the train. Yoguri said to Akira, "As long as there's some device around, you cheer up right away." Then they saw Vari apologizing to Kasta, but Kasta told him she was going back to her seat. Just as Akira and Yoguri were about to head back to their seats too, Vari came up to Akira and asked him to help him fix things with Kasta. Then they went back to their seats, and Fari stood up to tell Akira about an incident that happened to them a month ago, and that he had said something to Kasta that ended up hurting her feelings. Akira asked Fari what he said. Fari said that he had been in love with another girl, which made Amori angry, and Yujuri said that this crime deserves the death penalty, and even death is too light for him. Fari said he knows that, but this time was 10 years ago, and it only happened once, and Kasta was moody at that time, and they were waiting for the birth of their twins. Akira said, "You cheated on her while she was pregnant?" And Amori asked him why he would choose such a critical time. Fari tried to justify himself, saying he was drunk, and that this person had been involved with him before he even knew Kasta in the first place. But Yujuri thinks Fari should rot in the deepest depths of hell. Then Yukurata came closer to Fari and asked him, "Can I offer you a frozen margarita?" Akira got up to leave and told him he couldn't help him, but Fari grabbed Akira and begged him to help, asking him not to abandon him. He told him that he was a fool and selfish, and that he wanted to see Kasta smile at him one more time. Then Fari's kids came over. Rogue stepped forward and said to her father, "Did you make Mom angry again?" And she asked him to go and apologize to her, because she doesn't like it when they fight. Then Amori asked Akira to help him, but Akira thinks it's pointless. While they were sitting, Oboro came to them and told them that good intention has to come before any action a person takes. Amori said to Oboro that she hadn't seen him since yesterday, and that he looked like he was working as a ticket conductor today. Oboro said, "Exactly, because used bookstores don't bring in much money," and he asked Akira why he wasn't shocked to see him. But for Akira, it had become totally normal. Then Kylo asked Oboro what good intention means. Oboro said it means putting your heart into what you're doing, and by doing that, you can reach the other person's heart. Then Kylo said, "The orange tree," and Roof said, "That's the place where Dad proposed to Mom." Roof said to her father that he proposed to her mother by the orange tree, so why not try to convey those same feelings again? Fari said, "Of course, this is a reenactment of the proposal." Amori said, "There are no trees inside the train." Akira said that in that case he needs oranges. Fari said he still had a lot left. Yukurata said, "We'll need some extra tools. How about we look around?" Oboro told them that if they needed help, he and the others were here too, and the train staff staff confirmed that. Fari told the staff they were so kind, and he started crying. Then Akira and Yujuri moved off to search for something that could be used for the proposal, but Akira thought there was nothing. While Akira was thinking, he was grabbed by Yuami, and Yuami pointed her weapon at Akira, but Yujuri quickly stepped forward and aimed her weapon at Yuami. Yuami said that a good bait catches a good fish, and told them they were coming with her to the main owl headquarters, and ordered them not to think about trying to escape. Yujuri noticed that Hakoba was not in a good mood today, and that Hakoba was also present, and Hakoba said, exactly, and that there was no point in chasing each other forever. Yuami was surprised that Hakoba was there, and Hakoba asked Yuami what she meant by that. Then she said to Akira that this was her first time meeting him face to face. She walked up to him and touched him, which made her happy, and she said to him, "What a cute little young man you are." Then Yujuri came closer and asked Hakoba to back off. Hakoba apologized to Yujuri and hugged her because she had missed her, but Yujuri pushed her away. Then Yuami told them to go home, and that she would handle things from here by herself. Yujuri scolded Yuami, which made Yuami angry, and Yujuri ordered Yuami to let Akira go immediately. Hakoba asked them to calm down, then stepped toward Akira and told him that she was the older sister of Yujuri and Yuami. Yujuri put away her weapon, and told Hakoba that if she let Akira go, she promised she wouldn't run away, and that she was tired of this chasing game with Yuami. Yuami also put away her weapon. Hakoba suggested that since they were on a train, they should consider this a truce, and also suggested that they order some tea. Akira told her to forget about the tea, and asked her to tell him everything she knew about Tuwasa. Then it cuts to Amori, who wished Akira and Yujuri had found something. Yukurata thought they must have found something crazy, but Amori asked Yukurata what made him say that. Then Kasta appeared to them, and Amori said this was bad, and immediately went toward her. Kasta asked Amori where her kids were. Amori told her she'd seen them running in that direction, but Kasta saw them hiding. Amori tried to distract her from noticing them, and Kasta thought her kids must have done something. Amori told her no, not at all, and that they weren't trying to help fix things between her and Fari or anything like that. Then Kasta apologized and said that it had nothing to do with forgiveness, and that they were a family, but everything was different from how it was back when he proposed to her in the past. Then Yukurata stepped forward and said, "All my love is for you alone. That's what Fari said to you, right?" Kasta confirmed that this is what happened, and that everyone thought she was going to choke him to death because she had never loved anyone but him. Here, Amori said to Kasta, "You remind me of Akira and Yujuri, so I know there are people in the world who think like you, Kasta, and that's not strange at all, even if there's a bit of loneliness in it." Then it cuts back to Akira, and he told them he'd heard that Tuwasa was the one responsible for ending the AI war, and asked them if that was true or not. He played an audio recording of Tuwasa, saying that she had made many mistakes, that these were sins that were haunting her, and that she had to live on and carry the knowledge of what she had done, and that this was a burden she had to bear alone. Then the recording ended there. Akira asked again what Tuwasa had done that was so terrible, and what happened to her after the AI war, and whether she was still alive somewhere. Hakoba told him she didn't know, and that they were completely in the dark, and that if she knew, she would have told him right away. Yuami suggested to Akira that he ask Tuwasa himself, and said there were two reasons they were chasing Yujuri. The first was to keep the super weapons known as the Outer Series under surveillance, and the second was to find out where Tuwasa was.